At a tribal wedding in a small village in Gwalior, Ram Ratan of the Sahariya tribe was shot by two upper caste men. For a year, a civil society organization fought on his behalf, holding the perpetrators accountable. As Ram Ratan recovered, he chose not to press charges. For him, justice wasn't punishment, it was providing for his family, drowning in medical debt. With the CSO support, he secured compensation, cleared his debts, and bought an e-rickshaw to rebuild his livelihood.
हमारे लिए तो क्रिमिनल इनजस्टिस का मतलब है सज़ा, पर हमें उस केस के थ्रू पता लगा कि लोग क्या चाहते हैं, राम रतन क्या चाहता था. And then we actually had to think about it and we said कि जो लोग चाहते हैं, I think हमारा काम वही है.
But Ram Ratan's journey didn't end there. Seeing some Sahariya children struggle to reach school, he put his e-rickshaw to use, ferrying them for a modest fee. His fight for justice had set change in motion.
And the truth is, when systems of law and justice fail and enforcement doesn't work, so fundamentally our faith in law and order starts failing. And when that happens, it affects us as a society as a whole. It may not be you today, but it could definitely be you tomorrow.
The justice system must not be this ivory tower that people are afraid to navigate.
We as a society don't even know what laws govern us. And if we don't know the laws that govern us, how do we access justice?
Justice is often spoken of as an ideal, but for many, it remains out of reach, delayed, denied, or inaccessible altogether. But what if justice could be simpler, faster, and more inclusive? Justice isn't just about courtroom and legal battles. It's also about the right to live with dignity. While the promise of justice is constitutional, the path to it often remains unclear.
So if our goals are different of what justice is and who we are fundamentally different, it goes without saying you're going to need like 100 different pathways of what justice is going to look like.
Everybody has a role to play in upholding the rule of law. Because whom is the law made for? It's made for society. And what kind of society do we all want to live in? Where everybody, just like what we want, access to fairness, access to our rights, understanding what is our due, also our responsibilities. It's a Samaaj question, a Samaaj problem.
The road to justice is filled with obstacles. Complicated language, a lack of awareness of one's rights, inaccessible legal support, and a stigma that can often be isolating. When the system fails to meet people where they are, civil society organizations step in, not to replace the system, but to ensure justice reaches those who need it the most.
हैंडपम्प नहीं चल रहा, राशन नहीं है, राशन की जो दुकान है वो करप्शन होता है वहाँ पे. तो we call these the entry level problems. And the approach is not that हम कर देंगे आपके साथ. अगर PHE डिपार्टमेंट में हैंडपम्प के लिए जाना है तो हम नहीं जाएंगे, आप जाएंगे, हम पीछे खड़े रहेंगे. क्योंकि एट द एंड ऑफ द डे अगर उनके हाथों में कलम होगी, उनके हाथों में टूल्स होगा, तो वो अपनी लड़ाई आराम से कर लेंगे.
Across India, small but deliberate interventions are proving that access to justice can be more than an idea. It can be a lived reality. From legal aid to need-based mediations, CSOs are shifting how justice is accessed, understood, and delivered. When marginalized people don't get the support they need, survival can sometimes push them into crime. And once inside the system, they're quickly labeled.
I think one big myth is that they're all criminals and they're all dying for your blood. There's a lot of fear attached to that space.
The stigma surrounding prisons further isolates people in these systems, rendering them unseen, unheard, and distant.
Something that we chanced upon actually in one of our prison visits is some poems that the residents had written, and the superintendent was saying that, hey, can we do something about these poems?
These poems soon transformed into a music album, Project Aha, meaning hope in Assamese. The album challenged stigma, revealing the human side of those behind bars.
The poems were an incredible insight into their lives, their journeys, their emotions, their struggles, their triumphs. So that was an unveiling of a different facet to their identity.
Each of them is not a number. There's an individual behind it, right? So if you're able to provide some relief or justice or long-term support to that one person, it's making a difference to that one person's life. And that one person is not one person alone. That one person has a family, and that family lives in a community. So it is making a longer-term impact in terms of that one person that we are talking about.
Beyond stigma, India's prisons grapple with overcrowding and delayed trials. Over 60% of the prison population consists of under trials. That is, people not yet convicted but trapped in a system that moves too slowly to set them free.
There are 7,200 ways in which a citizen can get arrested in this country. 76 point something percentage of these laws are activities which is debatable as to whether this is a crime or not. So what we are trying to do with this Crime and Punishment Collective is collectively try and see as to whether there can be principled based sentencing. That can we come together to say that this is what seems right for this kind of wrong.
The IJR, the India Justice Report, we rely completely on data which is valid in the eyes of the government. Because this is official data. It is data that the courts will accept. It is data that the public must accept.
Justice is rarely a linear path. It's a path that must meet people where they are, have fair laws, and ultimately lead to their dignified return to society. The system has its flaws, but it is not beyond repair. Across courts, prisons, and communities, change is steadily taking shape. Initiatives around policy reform, improved legal aid, and data transparency are building a system responsive to the needs of justice.
We often talk about the system being responsive to the last mile, to the vulnerable. But equally, justice must be available for all.
There is so much common ground to be made on these matters because we are all looking at the same problem. We are looking at it from different lenses and different directions. So why don't we come together and do it?
Justice is not a fixed destination. It's an evolving system that must be adaptable, responsive, and future-ready. And who shapes this future? Those willing to act. From legal aid to reintegration, from policy to participation, this ecosystem needs more than ideas. It needs those willing to back a diversity of efforts that reimagine justice at every level, individual, collective, and national.
I wish I could say that I had gone to the defense of everybody who needed me. I do not have that capacity. But I do have some capacity, and to that extent, I want to use it.
Can we seize the moment to increase the speed of the delivery of justice, whether it's the prison system, whether it's the police system, whether it is the courts? I think these are all very clearly simple humane issues, and it would be great if Indian philanthropy would get excited with some of these opportunities here in India.